All right. Welcome to another one-shot review brought to you by the students of S.H.I.E.L.D. I'm Mikey, and joining me today are Dan and Rose. And today we're going to be talking about the first 5 episodes of Marvel Studios' What If, the new animated series that's streaming right now on Disney Plus. And so, happy to get right into it. Thank you both for taking the time out of your day to join me. And we'll just get started. So we'll just talk about what do you have been your first impressions of the show, like before watching it? Like what were your thoughts going into it? I don't know who wants to start first.
Well, for first impressions, for starters, it seemed like a pretty cool concept, like what they're doing based on the comics.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you can think of it like as like an anthology series, like The Twilight Zone or like Black Mirror.
Mm-hmm.
And then going into it, it's partially true, but if for anybody who has seen like the Loki series finale, you know, like when Sylvie killed like the variant of Kang the Conqueror, which is known as He Who Remains, that's when the multiverse is unleashed. So at this point, although like every episode is good as a standalone,
Mm-hmm.
at this point, whatever happens in these episodes, they're now canon, part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, or at this point, we should call it the Marvel Cinematic Multiverse.
Mm-hmm. Gotcha. Yeah, good point, Rose. What are your first impressions?
I was very excited. I remember reading some things about like Marvel what ifs, and those were always very cool. So I was very excited for this show. I didn't know really what to expect aside from the flashes that we got in the trailers and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was very excited for Captain Carter because women.
Yes, of course. Yeah, and you've never read a What If comic, right?
No, I haven't. I've seen things. I know I've seen quite a few. I've seen at least 2 things. I can't remember what they are now, but I've seen like Instagram posts about them. So.
Gotcha. Okay. All right. So for me, I was very excited to watch this show just because I grew up reading some. I collected a few What If comics as a kid. My favorite one was What If Iron Man, Hulk, Spider-Man, and Wolverine were the Fantastic Four. That one is my personal favorite. So when they're doing a What If show, I was like, okay, this is gonna be interesting. And then now coming off of Loki and seeing how that ended, I was like, okay, like this makes sense of how this is gonna be introduced. And what you said, how like every episode was going to be completely standalone, or I don't know, or somehow tie together into the Marvel multiverse now. And
the only What If story I did read before then was I forgot the title of it, but it was the What If story. What if Spider-Man like stopped that guy that actually in the timeline like killed Uncle Ben, but actually stopped the guy. Then he became like some famous celebrity.
That's
funny. And then he's got the cape.
That's funny. See, like that's why I love What If. Like literally, like, you can do literally anything you want, and like it's just actually they could be really bad stories. They're bad What If stories, but they could also be like really fun and really entertaining. So I was like really excited to check this out, especially like knowing the episodes that we're gonna get. Well, the first couple episodes, I was very excited. I was very, very, very excited. That's what my first impressions were. So I guess we'll just move on. And I wanted to take a second to talk about Uatu, the Watcher. Like, what are your guys' thoughts on now seeing Uatu as like the narrator of each episode, like, and like the moderator, I guess? What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, Dan brought up the Twilight Zone.
Yeah.
And it does make me think of like Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone. I know that's not the original, and Rod Serling narrating things at the beginning and end. But yeah, he is. I like that every episode he seems to be like getting closer, especially in the Doctor Strange episode. But well, we can talk about that when talk about the Doctor Strange episode. Like, I expected him to, like, I didn't expect for it to like zoom in on him, like, and we see him as not just a shadow like he is in this image here. But yeah.
Gotcha. Dan, you have any thoughts on Uatu?
Well, Well, I don't really know much about like the character like from like the original source material. From what I've seen from the 5 episodes, it seems like he lives up to it. Lives up to his name, like a watcher, a keeper, like a protector within the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
It looks like he's guarding like the entire universe from the looks of it.
Yeah.
Though episode 4, I feel like the Doctor Strange episode, like he played a much bigger part of it. I really did not expect that. Like we'll talk more about that like when that time comes.
Gotcha. Well, there's a comment, and it says the episode I'm excited for the most is where Ultron gets Vision's body and the Infinity Stones. I'm also looking forward to that one. And also Jeffrey Wright is perfect in the role. Yeah, for the audience who doesn't know, Jeffrey Wright is the voice actor for Uatu the Watcher, and he's also going to be Jim Gordon in the Batman. So he's making Marvel and DC money right now. But yeah, I love Uatu in this. I'm not used to seeing Wukuran because like I don't know that much either about Uatu, like because it mostly seems like he is mostly contained to one universe. So like rather than making him kind of like a multiversal like overseer is an interesting route, and I love how like visually like you see him like he has like a looming presence throughout the whole series, especially like what you see him like in the background watching over stuff like in certain scenes. And yeah, I think it's really cool. And we'll definitely talk about the whole Doctor Strange issue because that was really dope. But yeah, I love Uatu so far, and I'm curious to see how he's gonna tie into the rest of the series and if he's ever gonna show up in like the MCU films going forward. And yeah, so any other thoughts on Uatu before we move on to the first episode?
Hmm.
All right, so yeah, so the first episode of the show, which is episode 1, What If Captain Carter Were the First Avenger? And I love this episode. For me, because I've said this on multiple podcasts, that like I'm a big fan of Agent Carter. I love that show, and it was unjustly canceled, and I'm pissed that like Disney still hasn't brought that show back yet because Haley Atwell is amazing and that show was amazing. But I do like the fact that they're still technically giving her flowers with this episode, and hopefully we will see a live action adaptation of this maybe in an MCU film, probably hopefully Doctor Strange in as soon as possible. But yeah, I'll give like a quick summary, just real quick, and then we'll just continue talking. So yeah, like basically like the whole, and also like what I like about how the narrative structure of the show works. So like they're focusing on like what moment in the MCU that like differentiates. So in this case, what if Peggy decided to stay during the demonstration instead of just sitting in like I think she instead of leaving, I believe I think either she left or she was in like the one of the boxes where people were watching it. And yeah, and then Steve gets shot. People die. Erskine still dies, and then they're just like, the army's like, okay, we need someone to get in this thing because we spent so much fucking money on it. Howard Stark, you get in it, and he's like, no, I don't think I should get in it. I'm the button pushing guy, and then Peggy does the right thing and then gets in it herself and becomes Captain Carter. Yeah, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Y'all can chime in if you don't want to chime in.
Well, for starters, I love in the parallels like within the original like first Avenger movie, with the twist of like Peggy Carter becoming Captain Carter, and also on another note, I'm actually liking like the presence of like Haley Atwell's Captain Carter in here, which by the way, I also like the Agent Carter show. I felt like it was unjustly canceled. The cliffhanger from season 2 was never resolved.
Never resolved.
Yeah, and plus, when it comes to live action, I can definitely see Haley Atwell like returning as a live action Captain Carter in a future Marvel project, whether it be like Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness, or any other form of Marvel project, whether it's a movie or a live action Disney Plus show.
Gotcha. All right, Ro, do you have anything to say?
Not really. My thoughts were pretty much. I like this episode. I mean, was good. It was a good start. I did not expect there to be a fucking Leviathan. I don't know, whatever. A giant tentacle monster to fucking attack them. But yeah, I do really like this. And as I said before, women.
Exactly. Yeah, I'll go to my other slide real quick. We'll talk about like just some stuff that happened in the episode that I wanted to address. So obviously one of the big ones that was also advertised during the campaign for What If was that Steve Rogers was going to be like basically like the World War II version of Iron Man, but they call him the Hydra Stomper in this. And I wanted to point out that Chris Evans isn't voicing him. It's Josh Keaton, who people know who voiced the Spectacular Spider-Man. And he does a great job as like a young Steve Rogers, in my opinion. And yeah, we mentioned the whole incident with how Peggy became Captain Carter. Also, Bucky, I think, is interesting that Bucky, like, because of Peggy being Captain Carter, he never becomes a Winter Soldier and was never experimented on by Arnim Zola. That was interesting. And yeah, the whole tentacle monster thing towards the end, and how that's how she becomes a now woman out of time through like a time dimensional portal thing. That was really cool. And yes, for people who are wondering, that tentacle monster, I think, is Shuma Gorath. It has to be Shuma Gorath. They would not put him in here if it wasn't Shuma Gorath. And yeah, any other thoughts on these other stuff that I mentioned?
Yeah, well, on the voice acting, it's very like authentic and very like nice touch of detail that a majority of like all the MCU actors who like, whether it's currently doing their characters in the MCU or previously done their characters in the MCU, came back to like reprise their roles as the characters in voice form. And there's differentiations between like acting and then voice acting. For voice acting, it's pretty impressive, not bad.
It is pretty impressive.
Yeah. And also Josh Keaton, one of my favorite voice actors for Spider-Man. And although it kind of bums me out that we may never get to hear him do like a Spider-Man voiceover in any project again, he does a pretty good Chris Evans impression in this one.
That's true. No, like I literally thought it was like generally like Chris Evans trying to be young Steve Rogers, and I thought I heard it was Josh Keaton, and I was like, wow, that man's impressive. Like I was pretty surprised. But yeah, this episode is dope. I also fuck with Peggy with a sword and a shield too. That was really cool. There's a lot of cool stuff. I mean, I also like that the fact that like Red Skull literally like he dies. I think he's actually killed in this. Like he doesn't.
Yeah. He like he the fucking monster crushes him.
Yeah. So that was interesting. But also like the best thing about the show. Well, I still like the fact that like no matter what timeline it is, like Peggy and Steve's relationship is like always a thing. I love that because I love a towering Peggy Carter with a short Steve Rogers. I think it's so great. Yeah, like that. It was a good change. Was constant like that. The fact that like a big majority of why like the hardships that Steve went through as like trying to be Captain America is mostly played with as like Peggy being a woman from the 40s. I thought that was also great. And yeah, man, I just want more of this shit. Give me more of this shit, please. But yeah, I mean that's pretty much all I gotta say. This was a good start in my opinion. One of my favorite episodes, and yeah, I really want to see more of Captain Carter, like for real. Like I want to see more. Yeah. So anyone else have anything else to say?
Well, first off, I'm pretty sure we'll likely see Captain Carter again once like they form like whether it's Uatu or whoever like forms the Guardians of the multiverse.
Yeah.
By like the end of this season. And then second, I'm actually I'm actually kind of glad that like they addressed her as Captain Carter and not as Captain Britain.
Yeah,
even
sure.
though like the suit's like based on the looks of Captain Britain, and she's of course British. So I think they want to like save that title for like when in the actual Captain Britain, like they still like want to do like the Captain Britain character in the near future.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think that's probably why they're doing it that way, which I appreciate. And it keeps her separate from the whole Captain Britain thing. And also, like, I just want to like screen share real quick because like I remember there was one poster that for before the sort of draft that I loved this thing. Like this poster is incredible. Like I love this. I love it so much with the whole like it's the Steve Rogers design from like how we know from like him doing that famous Captain America pose in that poster, and then it's ripped and it's Peggy. I love that so much. It's so good. Like whoever designed this poster, you're a god, and I love you. But yeah, this episode was pretty good, in my opinion. Great start. All right, so I guess if there's no other thoughts, I guess we'll move on to the next episode, which is honestly, out of pure bias, is my favorite episode of the series. But it is. Come on, StreamYard. Don't fail me. There we go. Come on. It's T'Challa as Star-Lord. What if T'Challa became a Star-Lord? And this entire fucking episode is just Peter Quill sucks as Star-Lord, and I love it. It's so good. But basically, again, just to break down the whole thing, it's just quick summary. T'Challa, basically, instead of Peter Quill being taken by the Ravagers, it's T'Challa from Wakanda, and he essentially grows up like how Peter Quill grows up in outer space as a Ravager, but like instead of just being like a selfish outlaw, T'Challa being T'Challa, he basically becomes like a universal like galactic like Robin Hood, and it's awesome. And we'll talk about like how much of an impact that has on this version of the MCU. But yeah, this was great. Obviously, this was this T'Challa was voiced by the late and great Chadwick Boseman, and is one of his last roles, sadly. And yeah, man, this is what are your thoughts on this, guys, on this episode?
Well, like you said, in this universe, like T'Challa is a much better Star-Lord than Peter Quill was.
Yeah.
Like there's so many things that he successfully accomplished in this universe. Like he prevented like the Kree invasion, which like saved Drax's like wife and daughter. Which if that never happened, he would never go on the path of vengeance to kill Ronan or Thanos. And speaking of Thanos, you mean to tell me T'Challa, Star-Lord, managed to convince Thanos from wiping out half the population by talking to him? That
made my jaw drop to the fucking floor. I was like, oh my god, this man literally stopped Infinity War and Endgame from happening. Like this is... And what was that line he said? It was like, like the best weapon in your arsenal is just a good argument. I love that. That was so good. Yeah. Oh god, man. There's so much good stuff, and I'll talk about like what happens, like what we see too. Wait, Rose, what were your thoughts on T'Challa, Star-Lord?
Yeah, I love this episode. I initially when they started mentioning Thanos, I was like, oh my god, Thanos is fucking dead. And then no, he's on the Avengers. And I was like, what the hell?
That's so cool.
And also, I just want to say that one line that you mentioned, words are the best weapon or whatever. I've been watching a lot of Doctor Who recently. That feels like a Doctor Who quote.
Okay, fair enough.
That's all I really have to say.
Gotcha.
This episode is great, and I loved it.
Nah, it's good. It's really good. Oh my god, I don't know. I like the fact that they took, especially because like when they flash back to Wakanda, and then he gets taken by Yondu, who's voiced by Michael Rooker, obviously. They kind of took that like aspect of like just the intro to Black Panther, where we hear that voiceover of T'Challa as a child talking about like what's beyond Wakanda, and they took that aspect of like the wonder of his character and then push that to make it more of like an explorer route, and I love that. Like that, I thought that was fucking great. And it kind of reminded me of like the intergalactic Empire of Wakanda arc that they've been doing in the Marvel comics for the past like few years. That was really cool. But yeah, so yeah, we'll talk about what went down in this one. So obviously the big one was Thanos. He turned Thanos to, good, and he's a Ravager now. But also we got Nebula is not scary cyborg Nebula. She's more of like a femme fatale like type of like.
She looks like a Bond girl type of character in this episode, like in Ocean's 11.
Yeah, something like that, like something like Ocean's 11, like a Bond girl type. And I love the fact that like her and like T'Challa like had an implied thing going on, and he called him Cha Cha. I thought it was great. I love the hair too. Like I like this version of Nebula a lot more than I like the other one, the Nebula filled with trauma. So that was great. Howard the fucking Duck came back and played voiced by Seth Green. Dude, I fucking love, like, this is the most Howard the Duck we've ever gotten, and I loved it. I thought it was so funny. Him like explaining the whole giving T'Challa the tour of the Collector's facility, and then obviously Dan already mentioned Drax, meeting Drax again, who has his wife and daughter not killed. That was really cool, and him having taken a picture. I forgot to put this guy in, but I loved him. It was Jaimon Hansu's character, the guy who we see in Guardians 1, who's like he doesn't know who the fuck Star-Lord is, and we see him in Captain Marvel. I loved him. I love how he was just a Star-Lord fanboy the whole time. I thought it was so great. And he also becomes a part of the team. Also, the fact that like T'Challa will like let anyone on his team, anyone who deserves a second chance. I love that. And also right here, we see Benicio del Toro reprising his role as the Collector, and he I loved this because it makes sense. The fact that after Thanos is not like the head honcho in the universe, he takes his place. That makes sense, and he has and we get a lot of Easter eggs with his character too, involved like what he has in his arsenal to fight T'Challa. Like if y'all can remind me, I think he had Cap Shield, I believe.
He also had Mjolnir.
He had Mjolnir. He had Malekith's dagger, like one of the Dark Elves' daggers, I believe. And he also, you see in this picture, he had fucking Hela's crown with the Necro swords. That was cool. I think he had something to do with he had a Corbinite arm, I believe, and that's kind of implied that that's probably Korg's arm. Yeah, it was the Collector here I thought was very well utilized, and as well as the Blackguard was his posse this time instead of being Thanos' posse. So yeah, I thought this was a lot of fun. And then and what else was I was thinking? Where just T'Challa discovers that Wakanda wasn't destroyed. I like that a lot because again they did a good job, especially with the score, incorporating some the Guardians-ish type music and then the Wakanda theme stuff in terms of the emotional moments within that scene. I loved that, and yeah, the ending was really nice. Him returning home to his family, and that was fun. That was nice. So that banner. Yeah, so what were your thoughts on all this other stuff, guys?
I just love no matter what universe, this is T'Challa always has the presence of a king.
Mm-hmm.
That's why he has such praise and respect.
Mm-hmm.
And in the end, this was such a beautiful episode, an amazing tribute to the late Chadwick Boseman.
Mm-hmm. For sure. Rose, do you have anything to say about all this other stuff we talked about?
No.
Nah.
We really covered it. I feel like.
Yeah. Let's go. No Howard. No freaking out about Howard the Duck. Come on now. Howard the Duck is great.
I do remember going, oh wow, this is. I honestly did not. I didn't know what Howard the Duck was.
It's fine.
And I still kind of don't, and I don't want to know actually.
Okay, fair enough. No. That's actually a great response to Howard the Duck. You don't want to know about Howard the Duck.
Okay, so I'm safe. Good to know.
Yeah. Oh, also, the dog, Cosmo the Cosmonaut.
The dog, yes. I do actually remember saying, I swear to God, if the dog fucking dies.
No, there is a Howard the Duck movie in the 80s.
Oop, we don't mention that, dude. That was weird. Oh, God. But yeah, Cosmo the Cosmonaut. I want more of this character. Like I want more because for people who don't know, in the comics, he was a Russian dog. I think it was like he was sent through like the Russian space program and got lost. And turns out like I think due to like cosmic rays, he gained like telepathy, so he can like communicate through. So he can talk to people through telepathy. I think it's really cool. Yeah, Rose, it's cool. And
I just assumed I didn't know that was. I assumed it was the. Oh fuck! I can't remember the name. The dog that they actually sent into space. I just assumed that.
No.
Yeah.
It's like a variation of that, but like
Okay.
yeah, but he has telepathy, and they haven't done that yet, and I'm waiting for them to do Cosmos telepathy and stuff. But yeah, this episode, man, was again what Dan said was great. A great tribute because again they dedicated the episode to him at the end. Oh, I'm dumb. Fucking Peter Quill.
Yeah.
Fucking yeah, the loser Peter Quill shows who works at the Dairy Queen. That was funny. Fucking Ego shows up to reunite with his son, and that's gonna probably end the world. But
it just occurred to me, did that entire universe got yeeted when he found Quill at the Dairy Queen?
I don't know.
Huh.
Maybe. The thing is, like, I know they're probably, because I think some of the episodes toward the end are gonna like connect together. So like, I kind of think that because I remember there was a clip in the trailer where we got like the iconic like Avengers like turnaround shot, but like it was with like T'Challa, like the Gamora, and like a bunch of other characters. So I feel like
there was episode 4, Doctor Strange there too.
Yeah, there was So that may be a thing they may follow back up on, like them trying to stop Ego's gonna be like their Avengers like joining together threat. Maybe I don't know. But yeah, it was good. And also, Kurt Russell came back for that. Like, how much money did Kurt Russell get paid just to do that one line? Like, But yeah, this episode was great. It's like my favorite episode, my personal favorite episode. And yeah, so if there's no more thoughts, we'll probably just move on to the next one. But yeah, so the next one in this one is, what if Earth lost its mightiest hero? So basically, every Avenger dies. and I like this one because it was kind of like a murder mystery, like Clue type of episode. I thought it was really cool. And just to like give a quick summary, so yeah, like it kind of go like with like every different like solo movie, I would basically say. So like Iron Man 2, when Stark talks to Nick Fury and Black Widow about the Avengers Initiative and like curing his illness. Thor, obviously, the Incredible Hulk. This episode was I thought it was, in my opinion, it's one of the weaker episodes in my opinion. But I still thought it was like fun with the whole mystery because like I was literally trying to guess who was murking all these Avengers. But yeah, like Tony Stark gets murked during like, and I loved how like it was the injection that was supposed to stop his illness from killing him. Killed him. Hawkeye being framed for Thor's death by shooting him with an arrow during the New Mexico incident. Them trying to retcon the Incredible Hulk again. That was nice because they get that scene at the university where the Hulk is facing off against Ross's soldiers and he fucking explodes and then like out of nowhere. And Hawkeye dies as well, and then Black Widow ends up dying. But discovers who the person that's killed them, who's been killing them, and I'll talk about that in a bit. But yeah, like also I thought, what your guys thought about Loki being involved in this? Like, what were your thoughts on that? Him showing up.
Well, I like how it shows like it's like making us pretend that we don't even know who Loki is. Like we all know who Loki is, right? Yeah. And then the moment when he comes, like after Thor died in this universe, he comes to invade Earth as an act of retaliation for his brother's death. Mm-hmm. But let's be real. He probably wanted Thor out of the picture anyway, and just use that as an advantage to like rule the Earth anyway.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I I liked this episode. I uh, I did. So the thing is, with sometimes with shows, most of the time I just like turn off my brain and I just watch.
Yeah.
um, and like so like I wasn't I was just like I was just like, oh shit, they just died. Well, can't wait to see who that is later.
Yeah. And speaking of who it was, I thought it was a good twist. And the thing is, like, I thought that the killer was originally going to be, like, Ghost, because that would make sense why, like, they were all dying, like, we couldn't see who the person was. But the fact that the reveal was that it was Hank Pym, basically, as Yellow Jacket, I thought was great. And I was like, okay, yes, we finally get to see Hank Pym as Yellow Jacket, you know? And the fact that it was the reason why he did it was because they made, I guess in this universe, the deviation was that Hope became a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent after her mother's death. And then she died as well. So that's what made him crazy. He was like, I'm going to just kill all the Avengers now. And yeah, what are your thoughts on that reveal?
That reveal? I kind of saw it like when like before Black Widow died. Like I was wondering, it looked like she saw somebody fighting, but it kept like she was getting hit like an invisible target, but maybe not invisible, like a small target. So I figured it was Hank Pym, or it was a version of Ant-Man. But I never expected Hank Pym to be the Yellow Jacket in this universe until that reveal.
What's it called? Rose, did you think that that Hank Pym was the killer the whole time, or what did you think it was?
I, honest to God, forgot Hank Pym was a character in the MCU. Like, I've only seen the second Ant-Man movie. I've seen clips of the first one.
Oh God, you have to watch the first one.
I know. It's
so good.
The big giveaway.
I know it's really good. I really like the clips that I've seen from it, but I saw the second one on Netflix whenever it was on Netflix before Disney Plus existed.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, who the hell's that? Oh, it took me a little bit to process what was going on.
Gotcha. Dan, what were you saying, by the way?
So the one giveaway was when Black Widow, before she died, said it's hope. It's all about hope.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was the giveaway. I was like, bingo.
Yeah, that's true. But the thing is, like, in the back of my mind, I was like, well, why the fuck would Scott Lang want to kill all the Avengers? Isn't he in prison right now? Like, that's what I thought. But then the real was Hank Pym. I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense. But yeah. And then the show kind of ended with, like, you know, Loki basically taking over Earth, I guess. But then he, you know, ta-da! Nick Fury summons Captain Marvel and again, he didn't kill Steve because Steve was still on ice. So they recruit Steve Rogers basically to, like, you know, take back the Earth, and that's basically like kind of like a newer, a different version of, like, you know, the Battle of New York, I would say. I'm curious to know, like, what that Avengers team in that universe would have looked like now that, like, most of their players are gone. But yeah, I mean, I thought the ending was cool. I thought it was a cool ending. But again, like, this episode was good, but, like, it was kind of the weakest one throughout the first 5, in my opinion. But I did like the Hank Pym twist, though. I really liked it a lot. Yeah. Any other thoughts on episode 3?
Well, it would have been nice to see like a part 2 of this, to see like what the alternate like Avengers team up will look like if they had to go against Loki and the Chitauri invasion in this universe.
Yeah.
Also, I like how this was a tribute. This episode, despite being one of the weaker episodes, being a murder mystery, it was also like a nice tribute and also a farewell to like the Phase 1 era, and also put a rest to like the original 6.
Yeah.
And also the moral. Also, I felt like the moral was like no matter what happens, like there will never be like the last of Earth's mightiest heroes. There will always be a next.
100%. Totally agree with that. But yeah, Rose, I think you already said most of what you're gonna say. What you said,
Yeah.
so I'm just gonna move on to the next one. So, the next one, which was episode 4, what if Doctor Strange lost his heart instead of his hands? And this one, in my opinion, is probably the most tragic episode. Like, it is tragic. Like, it's wow. So basically, the whole idea with this episode was that, as I said, he lost his heart instead of his hands. So the idea was that this episode focused on like Stephen Strange's love for Christine, which wasn't really wasn't really like fleshed out in the movie. So I'm glad they kind of like retouched that in this one. But yeah, so basically, instead of Doctor Strange like losing his hands and stuff, he was in the deviation in this timeline was that Christine went with him when he offered to take him to that fancy dinner in his honor, I think it was. And instead of him losing his hands, she died. And so that was what caused him to go to Kamar-Taj and study the mystic arts in order to try to figure out a way to bring her back to life or to save her. He becomes the Sorcerer Supreme. So like the whole movie of Doctor Strange plays out the exact same. But then the whole difference is when Wong offers him a drink. And then he basically is like, fuck that. I'm going to go back, take this time stone, go back in time and try to save Christine. But like the sad thing is like he does literally everything in his power, tries to save her, but she still dies. Like I thought it was kind of sad. I don't know what y'all thought, but like I thought it was extremely sad that like even when he tried to change routes, she died. When he didn't even go to the fucking gala, like she got shot at a pizza place, or like they went to the gala and she had a heart attack, or like she went home and the fucking building explodes. Like it was just like it was so sad. I was like, God, like give this man a break, please. But yeah, this is what drives him insane. And I don't know if y'all can like help me with this, but like, what was the reason why like she couldn't die? I think she was like a point in time that couldn't be changed, right? Is that right?
Absolute
point. I almost said fixed point of time, which is same difference, but but fixed point in time is what they call it, Doctor.
Okay, Doctor Who, got it. So yeah, we'll call it a fixed point in time. So he basically tries to like, hey, like I gotta figure this out, and I like how. Was this the Ancient One's ghost that came out of nowhere? Like I was confused. I don't know if it was the Ancient One in another timeline, or if it was the Ancient One's ghost being like, "Steven, don't do that, please."
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like it was. I mean, the timey-wimey stuff.
But he goes to, I believe it's the Library of Cagliostro, where he can figure, because Cagliostro apparently was the only one to change I was about to say a fixed point. Yeah, I'm saying a fixed point because that just sounds better.
Yeah, that does.
And he gets the idea of doing the whole ritual thing where he basically like in order to like to gain that much power to do the spell, you have to absorb other supernatural interdimensional beings and take their power. And I thought that was really cool. And then I'll go to the next slide here because that's where all the details are. Yeah, so we basically get this man like absorbing all of these like interdimensional entities, and we see Shumagorath again. I'm telling you, they're pushing Shumagorath. Like they're doing it too much. Where like I feel like he's gonna be in Doctor Strange too. But yeah, like we see him like Shumagorath, like a bunch of really cool creatures, and I like the fact that like when he absorbed them, like he kind of like took their form a little bit. I thought that was really cool. Like, it was very creepy. It was really kind of like a horror vibe to it in this episode. And he does that, and like he does what he said he's gonna do. He saved Christine, but he ended up destroying his universe in the process. But I will say though, and we talked about it before, obviously my favorite part was where he could sense the Watcher while he was doing it, and the Watcher was like, "Yeah, I'm here. So what's up? I'm still not gonna do anything though, because gotta deal with the consequences." Yeah, what were your thoughts on the moment with the Watcher in this? I thought it was great.
Yeah. I mean,
you can go ahead.
No, you can go first. You stuck first.
All right. Well, it was that moment where, at first off, this is the first episode where anybody in the Marvel multiverse has interacted with the Watcher and vice versa. And I was like, that was just a mind-blowing part for me.
Mhm.
And then the moment, like like after Doctor Strange like successfully like brought Christie back to life, but ultimately destroys the universe in the process, and he tries to fix it, and then he sees the Watcher. He's like, help me, and he's like, dude, dude, you were warned. I tried to warn you, but you fucked up. You fucked up, man.
Yeah, basically. What's it called? Rose, what were you saying?
Yeah, it was like this was like the ultimate like I would if I could I would absolutely fucking take you out if it would fix this, but I can't. So you're shit out of luck, buddy.
Basically. Yeah, he doesn't intervene. That's his thing. He doesn't intervene no matter how hard he wants to. And that was great. And like I think, and I love the scene where, like, you know, actually we have a comment real quick. Rebecca says it's a fixed point in time because the MCU had to fridge at least one woman. I mean, that's sure. I can agree with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, like especially like when he does save Christine, and then he gets in that like very like chimera like monstrosity form, and she's like, oh my god, like doesn't recognize him. I loved that, as well as like the fact that she's like the universe is like like being like broken around them, and she's like, Steven, what did you do? I was like, man, this episode's fucking tragic, man. It's so tragic. And yeah, it was really good. I forget this dude's name. What was the dude at the library? Did y'all catch his name?
I think it was Cagliostros.
I don't think it was Cagliostro. It was someone. He had a name, but I totally forgot. I'm gonna call him the librarian for now.
Mhm.
He was cool. I like the fact that like Steven was in that library for centuries, and he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna age the natural way because you know we all gotta die. Which again foreshadowed that like, you know, cheating death isn't a good way to go. With Steven's goal, I like that. I mean, yeah, this episode's like overall was like, it was really good, but like it was just like, it was like so tragic because this man ends up in a barrier, and Tyrannus is like nothingness, like all alone because he destroyed his own universe. Yeah, it was just sad.
Yeah, it was sad. I was like, oh my god. Like just throughout the episode I went, oh my god.
Yeah. Like
if I could summarize this episode, this would be what if Marvel wrote a Black Mirror episode, because this is what it is. Because knowing Black Mirror, there is barely any happy ending in any of those episodes, and this is it.
That's true. That's very true. Yeah, it's the most Black Mirror in my opinion. Yeah, I agree with you on that. Also, yeah, so I just forgot about this. What do y'all think about that Doctor Strange versus Doctor Strange fight? I thought that was really cool.
I honestly thought that our Doctor Strange was gonna win.
Yeah.
And then he did, and I was like, what the fuck?
I thought he was gonna win too. Then I was like, wait a minute, no, because like this is a Doctor Strange that, you know, granted he has had, you know, time and master Mr. Arts and is the Sorcerer Supreme, but this man was literally in this library for centuries of absorbing creatures and enhancing his skills. So I was like, realistically, I don't know. And then the moment I saw this man turn into Christine to fool this Doctor Strange, I was like, yep, this is done. It's a wrap. He won. But Dan, what were your thoughts on that fight?
Well, you pretty much like took the words right out of my mouth. All I can say is this really sets my expectations for Doctor Strange 2 and the Multiverse of Madness real high. This is like kind of like the action, the VFX sequence I want to see in like a live action Doctor Strange sequel.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, I mean, are there any other thoughts? This episode was just good, just sad, just it's a lot. And like no matter how many times he tried to save this woman, he could not save. Like the universe was just like, no, like you cannot save this woman. It was just it's tragic. Yeah. But yeah, so I guess we'll move on to the last episode. And honestly, this one it's not my favorite, but I thought it was the most fun episode we've gotten, which was basically what if zombies. So they're basically just Marvel zombies. When we watched the trailers, I remember like back when we did the whole MCU podcast, Rose was there for 3 hours. When we saw that trailer, we saw Marvel Zombies. Okay, this is like that was like this. I think that's what the marketing push was at Marvel Zombies. Everyone knows for the most part Marvel Zombies. I was excited. I've read Marvel Zombies, and people who don't know, Marvel Zombies was a Marvel Comics Elseworlds like event written by the Walking Dead man himself, Robert Kirkman. The zombies in that book are different though, because in this one I thought was really cool the fact that like these zombies are like are basically like the typical classic zombies, but they, especially like the Marvel characters that are returned, they have like remnants of their skills. So like Doctor Strange was still using the sling ring, and like Hawkeye could still use his arrows, and Cap was doing this. So it's kind of like muscle memory. I thought it was really cool because in the comic,
lack of muscle memory, considering some of them are fucking rotting.
exactly. And I thought it was interesting because in the comic, and this is for you who don't read comics. They were like the zombies were zombies in the comic, but they were sentient. They could think, they could talk like normal, but they just ate brains and stuff. Because the more brains they ate, the more cognitive they were. And I thought that was really interesting. So the fact that I knew they weren't going to do that, but like it was cool. But the whole deviation with this one I thought was really interesting. This one would have been my favorite one. That Ant-Man and the Wasp, the movie that like no one liked. When Hank went to go rescue Janet Van Dyne, obviously in that scene, she was infected with a microverse virus, and then he brought that back with him, and that's how he infected everyone. That was interesting. I like how they're taking advantage of the microverse and like the quantum realm. I like that a lot. What are your thoughts on like that take on like a zombie infection?
It's pretty cool that they did it from like a microverse. I was like, that was neat. I think I don't really have.
Yeah,
it's certainly a unique way to do a zombie virus rather than. I don't know what other zombie media do. Zombie media isn't like my whole thing.
Yeah,
but I know that like. I'm pretty sure that in most things it's like, oh, something escaped from a laboratory in like the United States, or I know for a fact in Train to Busan it's from like an American government American thing that's in South Korea.
Yeah. I also love Train to Busan. That's a great zombie.
Train to Busan is really good. I cried while watching it.
Dan, what were your thoughts on this take on a zombie virus in the MCU?
On the I think it was like an interesting use of like the quantum lores and mythos, as it's been still underused at this point, like within like the MCU Ant-Man movies.
Yeah.
And also, I don't really like. It's like I don't really like know much about like the myths of what could possibly like cause a zombie apocalypse. Could be something like a rabid cow, or something came out loose from a like.
Yeah. I thought originally though that Stark was going to accidentally make it. That's what I thought was going to happen because that made the most sense to me. But yeah, and I like the fact that this started with Bruce Banner, being pushed back from going back to Earth like in the beginning of Infinity War. I thought that was really cool. And him just discovering everyone as zombies. That was fun. And also the whole backstory, I thought that was really fun as well. And then just to move on real quick, so what are the cool things that happened? So like again, I liked the aspect of like, I forgot who the roster was, but yeah, no, it was so the roster that they find like the zombie resistance, I guess, was Peter Parker, Happy Hogan, Winter Soldier, Sharon Carter, Wasp. I thought Wasp was a cool addition. And I think that's it. Yeah.
Did we count Kurt as well?
Kurt. That was great. I love Kurt.
The zombie hunter Avengers.
Exactly, the zombie hunter Avengers. I love that. Their whole journey into like the subway to try to leave to go to Jersey because like there was a distress signal in Jersey at the abandoned base where Captain America was, created, essentially. Those
I
really
really
cool.
like the line. I like the line that like when when Peter like was saving Bruce, he was like when he was like, "Don't eat me," I was like, "Relax, I'm just your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man." Really? Then what the hell happened to the neighborhood?
Exactly, that was great. That was great. Yeah, I mean that whole road trip, and then just to just to talk about what else happened, I thought was really interesting. The idea that Vision was alive, obviously because he's not human, so he would be the last one alive. But the crazy thing was that he was feeding people to Wanda, and I was like, okay, fuck. The fact that like obviously because we've watched WandaVision, we know what Wanda is, as a Scarlet Witch, being like a Nexus, like a Nexus being. The fact her being a zombie is probably the worst thing ever. Like, like that's fucking bad. um, so that there was that, and also we got T'Challa again. That was really cool, but he had one. He didn't have a leg. I was like, God damn it! Don't do my. Yeah, Vision fed my boy to Wanda. I was not happy. So there's that, and we also got Peter Parker. And I like the whole the home video of like how to survive a zombie apocalypse. That was great. And also he gets the cloak of levitation. That was really cool. And also Dan, I want to ask you because you're the cosplayer and all that stuff. Do you find it weird or interesting the fact that like he's wearing the Disney Parks costume? Like I don't know if you realize that. Like he's not wearing his MCU. He's wearing the costume for Disney Parks.
I mean, from the looks of like the episode, it looks pretty good. In my opinion, I actually like it. Not at first, but I'm growing to like it a lot more than like the current MCU red and blue suit scene in like Civil War, Homecoming, and Infinity War before like Tony Iron Man gave him the Iron Spider suit.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, it's probably from like a copyright or like rights issue, probably because like this is more of a Sony thing. They wanted to like, in order to get Spider-Man into this episode, they had to use like the Disney Parks Avengers campus suit.
Yeah.
Probably.
And I like it. I mean, I like the enlarged spider, like the gauntlets, like the silver gauntlet outside. They're kind of cool. Like
and one more thing, in this universe, I know it's an alternate universe, but it's still MCU, and they finally name dropped Uncle Ben in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like,
I was happy when I heard it, but then I was pissed because like the fact that it took this man 5 movies and an animated appearance to like at least acknowledge he had an Uncle Ben, I was so mad. Like I was like, God damn it. But like, you know what? He said it, so it's whatever. Will he say it in No Way Home? Probably not, because they just hate Uncle Ben. But yeah, I thought that was great. And then again, okay, and this the kicker, right? The fact that like this episode was also like a tragic one because when they go back to Wakanda, it turns out it was invaded because Thanos arrived, there's a fucking zombie Thanos. Like, dude, like what the hell? Like I literally, because like I like the fact that like they were kind of making like Wakanda like as the last like city on Earth. I thought that would make sense. But like I was kind of pissed when I was like Thanos took it over. Mm-hmm. Fuck, and now everyone's a zombie. Like, god damn it, there's no hope in this universe. So yeah, what were your thoughts on that ending? That tragic ass ending.
I was like, oh Jesus Christ. Like I thought, oh my god, there's a happy ending in a zombie piece of media. Holy shit. And then it just got yanked out from underneath my feet. Also, like I never read the Marvel Zombies. I did get a video recommended to me about Marvel Zombies on YouTube, and I watched that because it was just annoying me. That was in my recommended. I'm like, I just want to get rid of it, and I watched it, and I had nightmares that night.
No, because like they straight up like I remember there was one part of that book where like all the zombies like they showed there's 8 Galactus, and I was like, oh my god, like what the hell? Like it was, and they all got cosmic powers from it. Like it was just like what? But like yeah, man, Like, and in fact, think about it, like it's zombie Thanos, and they especially because like they use most of them with their abilities. Like it's a zombie Thanos with the Infinity Gauntlet. Not all of it, but like only one piece is missing. So like, you know, so yeah, man, that was a sad ending, and I don't think they're ever gonna I don't think they're gonna touch upon this in the other episodes. But yeah, man, yeah, Dan, what were your thoughts on that ending?
I'm just like, you gotta be kidding me. It was like, you just when you thought things couldn't get any worse, you have a zombie Thanos with 5, 6 of all the Infinity Stones, and I'm like, now that he's a zombie, what is he gonna do once he gets the final the Mind Stone?
I mean, I don't know.
I mean, at this point, this universe is doomed. It's like, I'm like, it's already gone. It's like, just get rid of it from the timeline.
Because Vision isn't alive. Like he kind of like is Vision alive or did he kill himself? I think he ripped the stone out of his head, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were just flying to him. Ooh, yeah, that sucks.
And while Thor, Groot, and Rocket were up like getting Stormbreaker, they're probably better off like still being in space, because by the time they get down to Earth, they'll be like, what happened?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also like I like the fact that like the Mind Stone was the cure. How like that was gonna be able to cure everyone of the zombie virus, which gave us like headless Scott Lang. That was fucking hilarious. You know, that was a fun moment, and I mean we love Paul Rudd, but we especially love Paul Rudd as a head in a jar. But yeah, I thought this episode was also it's not my favorite, but I thought it was the most fun due to like how many characters are in it and the cameos and like all that stuff. Yeah, I don't know if I want to see more of it because I think it's kind of like a one and done type thing for me. But yeah, that's all I got to say about that. I thought it was good. But yeah, so any other thoughts on the What If Zombies episode before we go on to like theories and all that stuff?
I mean, I liked the episode fine, but the thing is, I was a little bit hesitant to watch this one because I don't come to Marvel to see my favorite superheroes get turned into fucking zombies and gore.
Yeah.
I come to Marvel to see the Spider-Man quip and beat up bad guys.
Fair enough. But he did beat up bad guys in this. But in this case, they were zombies.
Yeah. I mean, I was pleasantly surprised. So.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah, what are your closing thoughts on this episode?
I do like the interaction between like Peter Parker and like Hope Van Dyne in this episode. It was like a nice dynamic, and that's something that I would like to see in like the main sacred timeline of the MCU whenever they form like the new lineup for the new Avengers lineup.
Yeah, she was kind of like another aunt. I thought that was really nice. That relationship, that was really cool. But yeah, also Happy Hogan doing the pew pew thing. I thought that was so funny. Like
blam.
Yeah, the blam blam thing. I thought that was nice. But yeah, so I guess we'll move on and to theories. Thank God Alex here because he doesn't like doing this part, but it's fine. But yeah, so theories, and I only have one because like I don't really know what else to expect other than like I don't know what other episodes we're getting. But like Dan already mentioned it, the fact that like it's probably possible that we're going to get the Multiversal Avengers basically. I thought that was cool. Like I don't know what your thoughts on this. Like I think it'd be really cool to like because because it reminds me of DC. You know how they have their own like they have the Justice League of the Multiverse. In the DC comics. So like I would like to see like all of these characters that we've seen that have survived in their universes like come together and basically become like the Avengers of the multiverse. That'd be really cool. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I think that it would be very interesting. I mean, it does seem like it's been hinted at.
Yeah.
With the trailers for the second half of the series, whatever. whatever they do, I'll be excited. It's Marvel. I like Marvel.
Mhm.
And yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Dan, what are your thoughts?
Well, we got about 4 episodes left, and the 6th episode coming out this Wednesday will be the Killmonger episode.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
That's going to be exciting. Yeah, do we know actually like what the other episodes we're getting are called? I'm trying to like go on IMDb real quick to see.
Episode 6 is the Killmonger episode.
Yeah.
7 and 8. I mean, I guess one of them could be the Party Thor episode.
Oh,
And
yeah.
And then if I had to guess, episode 8 or is it episode 7? It could be like a Gamora episode.
That's gonna be fun. Yeah, if it's basically like if Gamora was Thanos, that would be really cool.
And then episode 9, I think that's the moment. Like, for starters, like the only downside I have about this series so far is all these episodes are like 30 minutes short. There's a whole lot more story to tell if they were an hour long. And for the finale, I'm hoping for, even if it's just for like the 9th and final episode of the season, it would be like at least 45 minutes to an hour long, where like this would be the setup for the Guardians of the Multiverse, like the Multiversal Avengers. They come together and then they probably stop the big threat, whether it's Ego, the Living Planet, or the Ultron with all the Infinity Stones.
Yeah, I'm excited. Like I think if Ultron got Vision's body and got all the Infinity Stones, that's gonna be great. I kind of looked at the episode list, and it seems like that's what's gonna be the end episode, is them all coming together to fight that version of Ultron, I guess, which would be cool. But yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to see what I'm definitely excited for the Killmonger one. Oh my god, that's gonna be great. To see how that deviates. And who's this here? Alec, what are you doing here, sir?
I'm sorry to hold up the podcast, but now can officially start. So, hi guys.
Yeah, you missed a lot, but what we're basically talking about, like what any theories we have, and I said the multiversal Avengers, because it seems like they're all going to be teaming up at some point. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, it's a theory. Oh, it's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
I
favorite.
joined at the perfect time. Talk about timing. So my initial reaction was, what if, as a whole concept, is just the ramifications of Loki? And I haven't really thought of what this means in the greater scheme of things, but I do interpret Captain Carter's probably going to come back at some point, because it's a lot of positive feedback. But the multiversal, it's certainly possible. That's all I can say. I wouldn't be opposed to it, because again, I have hammered this. It's over everyone's heads over and over about Phase 4, is that they're shifting from sci-fi to fantasy to magic, blah blah blah. I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, that'd be cool. All right, but also, since you came late, you have to give like a speed round. All your thoughts on each episode right now. So go. So Captain Carter.
I was not impressed. I will be entirely honest. I thought it was kind of like a shaky. Well, no, I understand. Start off light. It did not blow me away too much. I didn't hate it. I just was not too thrilled, but it was enjoyable enough.
Okay, gotcha. T'Challa, Star-Lord.
Probably it's my favorite. I liked it's the flip on Guardians. Chadwick Boseman did great. Good guy Thanos. What? Seeing everyone come back for it. It was a lot of fun. And Seth Green back as Howard the Duck. Yeah. That was fun. But probably my favorite. It could be my favorite one, I think.
Okay, gotcha. All the Avengers dying.
I thought it was a fun whodunit. They did a great job hiding the voice or name of Michael Douglas in the opening credits. So it's like, oh my god, it's Hank Pym who did this. I liked the thing with the yellow jacket armor, and with Loki and everything. Captain Captain Marvel at the end. I liked it. It was a fun whodunit. I liked it.
All right, Doctor Strange turning evil. Okay.
I am a sucker. Just to let everyone know, I am a sucker for dark endings. I enjoy not sunshines and rainbows at the end of every corner. This, I liked the risk that Marvel took. Probably it's among the darkest things that the MCU has done overall, and I was very happy, as crazy as it sounds, about the sad dark ending. I liked what they did. I thought that Cumberbatch, he did a great job. It's with the voice work, and it's tied with T'Challa as my favorite episode so far.
Okay, gotcha. And Marvel Zombies.
I liked it a lot. I liked, everyone coming together. It's the pair ups. It's of these new characters, like with Banner and Kurt. Spidey and Hope. Also, something I want to point out. I understand it's not Tom Holland, and it looks nothing like him. But the guy they got for him, I'm trying to draw a blank right now. He did a great Tom Holland impression.
But it wasn't Tom Holland, right?
No, he wasn't.
It wasn't.
No, he can't do it because I think it contracts with Sony. It's the whole Sony thing. It's like super strict.
Well, but this dude did a great job. I was fooled. I thought it was Tom Holland.
And also, during that time, he was like filming back-to-back Uncharted and also the Spider-Man No Way Home as well.
I forgot about Uncharted.
Yeah. Okay. So, and also the first mention, it's of Uncle Ben. First direct mention of Uncle Ben. I really like that. It's the guy they got for Tom Holland. Was great. Or it's sore for Peter, and it was fun. I like zombies, so.
Yeah, gotcha. All right, thank you, Alec, for your speed round. I appreciate it. But so I guess just like I don't even think I should do final thoughts on these 5 episodes. Like, what do y'all think of just like them as a whole? Like, I think they were good. They were good, like especially like I mean, some of them were great, obviously, with like T'Challa. Some of them were weak, like I thought the Hank Pym one was weak. Alec, by the way, I didn't think it was that like great, but I thought it was still kind of fun. It was a good start. I'm hoping to see how everything's gonna like join, especially because at the last episode, everything's gonna join in together to see them all meet up and stuff like that. And I'm excited to see I'm excited for that Killmonger episode. They have no idea how excited. I'm so excited for that this week. I think it was a great start. The show's doing very well, like narrative wise, and with the Watcher and all that stuff. I think it's good. I like it. So I'll leave it. I'll open the floor for y'all.
It was a really good series. It's only halfway through. Yeah, halfway through. And I hope to see more, and I'm excited to see whatever they do next with it.
All right. Dan, you want to say something?
Yeah. I'm liking like everything we've seen so far, and I'm hoping for the second half they finish it off strong, especially with like all these multiversal like characters forming the Guardians of the Multiverse. And not only that, I'm hoping to see like if they'll bring any of these characters into the live action side of the MCU. I'm also like wondering what they'll do for season 2 of What If.
That's true. That's true. They can have many seasons with us, like multiple. So, Alec, what are your thoughts on the first 5?
Well, I thought the first 5, it's a fun what if. It's a fun series of like, it's what if this happened? What are these the Nexus events? It's interesting too because all so far at least, it's all the episodes are standalone. So like it's easy to hop in at any point and not be lost, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true.
They're all standalone. It seems that the 9 episodes are going to focus on it's the first 3 phases, I think. Especially since Phase 4 itself is underway. So probably for Season 2, that will be,
that's true.
Yeah, with Shang-Chi, with the Black Widow and all that. it's with the new characters coming out. But the first 5 episodes, I thought it had a so-so start, but then T'Challa, I like that a lot. And also, and like fun animation, great cast.
No, the animation's great.
It's really fun animation. And I'm excited for it. I would presume that the show probably has the smallest demographic. It's of the shows, it's of the MCU so far. Probably it's because it's animation. It's not trying to downplay of animation, but for most casual audiences, it's probably not as watched as heavily as WandaVision and Falcon and Loki. But it's very it's kind of niche in that, us fans see it. But so far the 5 episodes are fun, and I'm intrigued to see where they go next.
Gotcha. All right, we have a comment here. And it says, I think this has the potential to be one of the best MCU TV shows. Just a matter of the ideas they end up finalizing, whether they're new or taken from the comics. Yeah, I think so. Again, Alec did say that, like, yeah, it's one of the, I would say, like, lowest demographic, but I mean, I still think it has potential to be great. I mean, they can do whatever they want because it's animation. So, yeah, that's a good point. But yeah, so I mean, that's basically it. And I'll just quickly do the outro and send y'all away. But yeah, thank y'all for joining me. I appreciate that. This was a fun conversation. And then we're probably going to come back and do another one when the show wraps. But yeah, so yeah, thank you guys for our viewers that are watching this or will watch this when this is uploaded. We really appreciate it. Yeah, catch us again when we do part 2 of this discussion. We'll talk about episodes 6 through 9, right? And yeah, man, just like, comment, subscribe, watch our other content, and yeah, we'll catch y'all later. All right, get on safe.